Welcome back to ReadyComicsRoll movie review, and today we're going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. So that's what you're using the Dragon Balls for. I'm Anthony.
Did either of you bring senzu beans? I'm Mike.
I guess this is why I'm not going to become King of Planet Vegeta. I'm John.
And for anybody who hasn't seen the trailers or anything else like that, I mean, the whole point of this movie, obviously, is making Broly canon. And
yes.
That's pretty much, and it's such a sad story because it's one of vanity. This whole thing is just, there's two takeaways from watching this film. Frieza's absolutely horrible.
Well, everyone kind of knew that.
I know, but like, just really nails that in there.
Yeah, narcissistic, vain.
Because there are some people...
He's almost close to Mike's level of vanity.
Exactly.
That's far. That's pretty far.
But it's just funny because there was some people that, even at one point, we were questioning, like, all right, well, is Frieza maybe going to turn a new leaf? Is he maybe going to be like an anti-hero? No, he's just still a dick.
Well, I think one of the major things that we were thinking to before this movie came out was, like Anthony said, what's Frieza's going to play? And my hope wasn't that it would come into a mixture of, like, Bio Broly or something like that. Like, I'm hoping that Broly wasn't going to be some kind of genetic experiment. That was, like, my biggest hope.
Which you got that.
I'm just kind of like, we got Dad of Boy Super Saiyan, or Dad of Boy Saiyan edition.
Well, that's really not much different than the original film.
No.
First off, Paragus is not that badass. So
no, he's not. But he rocked the beard. Like, I gotta give him. He did the Dad of Boy with the beard alone.
Actually, spot on, Paragus. Like, dude, props.
Respect your beard.
Your beard, brother. You do not have a razor or anything to really shave in this, like, abandoned planet that you're exiled to, but you managed to go ahead and keep it nice and trim.
Not have facial hair?
It doesn't even matter, because I don't care what his actual combat power was. His beard level was over 9,000.
but Broly was clean shaven. Did he just mouth blaster that off all the time, what was going on there?
That was all the nectar.
I think we're getting away from
either way. Yeah. The whole point of the story, what actually brings everybody together, as always, is the Dragon Balls.
Yes,
and it's absolutely hilarious because we all saw it coming, and it is so Bulma the way they pulled it off. The fact that she wanted the Dragon Balls to go ahead and shave off 5 years, be 5 years younger.
Yeah.
So again, vanity. And then we cut over to Frieza, who had his crew steal the Dragon Balls for the sake of he just wants to be 5 centimeters taller. And they're like, okay.
Short people problems. I understand what he's talking about. I'm surprised Vegeta hasn't gotten to that point, but his pride really is what stops him from doing that.
Yeah, but then you do get somewhat of backstory explaining why, you know, Broly and Paragus are on that abandoned planet. It's very similar to the original film about, you know, King Vegeta just being like, yeah, your son's gonna be better than my son, so I'm gonna exile him.
Kick that shit out of here.
Okay. Let's start this for real. In part for what the movie is, I think it had a better kind of tie-in plot to this than the original Broly movie.
As a lot of baby Kakarot.
Exactly.
Is the reason why I go crazy and I'm super powerful.
Right, like having that potential, crying over Kakarot, making that battle cry make him cry. I never was a fan of that for the Broly movie. This one, at least, Paragus still has the same motivation. I don't like, King Vegeta. I don't like his lineage. I'm going to take it out on Prince Vegeta and whomever else. And it at least gives a better driving force. Paragus really drives to have his son be the weapon that he needs after the exile to fulfill his revenge.
Which is really sad, and what's actually really cool is they managed to humanize Broly versus the previous film, and you actually kind of feel sorry for him, because that's the way he's raised. He gets knocked off on this planet, his father goes to find him, and you think at first it's because, oh, he actually cares about, his son. No. The entire time they were exiled on this planet, it was just raising the weapon for revenge.
But then you get the glimpse of Bardock, who is kind of the counterpoint to that, where he's the one who sends...
very Superman-esque. I mean,
yeah,
like, my planet's going to die. I have a bad feeling about this. I need to save him. If everything turns out okay, I'll come get you. But worst case scenario,
remember,
you will be Superman.
He can see the future!
Not this again. Which kind of makes me sad. But what's weird is, before the planet's destroyed, you see him up there kind of fighting. So
no, I think there was some weird
So,
time skips that were happening while they were there.
What it is I think that if anything, this movie did a
consolidated.
It did a pretty good job. Again, not amazing, but a pretty good job at consolidating some of the things that were considered non-canon in the movie verse of Dragon Ball and putting at least some homages to them in this. Such as if you've watched the Bardock movie, the first one, not the second one, you're going to see some of the homage with this, especially with the destruction on Planet Vegeta. When you look at the first Broly movie, you're definitely going to see little tricks and trades that were utilized in that movie, but modernized into this one. Like, they still use the collar trick, which I've never been a fan of. I don't like how they utilize it in this.
Well, I like how when he goes full Rage Machine, Hulk, you know, smashing Loki, he breaks the collar.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Well, just like the other movie as well. Yeah, and so they do run parallel. But I
oh no, they do. They actually
great job of.
Even in the trailer, you'll see that he's fighting Goku and he slams him into the ice and drags him across that. That's very reminiscent to the second Broly movie when he literally drags, if I'm correct, the second Broly movie, where he drags Goku's face across, or Gohan's face?
I think it was Gohan.
I think it was Gohan's face, through the sides of buildings and stuff like that. Like, the smack into mountainsides are always, like, quintessentially Broly.
And I feel bad because the secondary characters were important and they were cool characters to introduce, but they're the whole reason why, you know, Paragus and Broly are found and are brought to Frieza. So Frieza's like, oh, okay, good. Now I don't have to do my dirty work to go ahead and do this. And there's a chance I might go ahead and still have Vegeta and Goku kill. But Goku, he stays for me.
But on the realistic part of this movie, obviously there's nothing that I can complain about being the animation. I thought the animation was spot on point. The times that you could tell that they use, like...
CG versus the CG, traditional animation.
Right. Well, not just that. There were times where, like, some of the animation, was a little bit janky, but I thought it was at good points. There's a point where, you know, they put in Piccolo, because Piccolo has to be in every Dragon Ball movie, which...
It's not a complaint.
It's not a complaint. Like, if there wasn't an appearance...
He's literally just there as a beacon for Goku.
Right.
Like, it's the best thing ever.
But the thing is, though...
That's his best friend, and his Yoshi.
Yeah, like, being a Piccolo fan, like, to me, it almost wouldn't be a Dragon Ball movie if
he didn't be like,
show...
Hi, guys.
Yeah, like,
I'm still here.
I will help you out with something. Like, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
And I mean, that all just leads up to the one thing that we all expected, the fight.
Right.
Which is another, I think, a solid part of it. I mean, as a wrestling fan, and the one thing I hated about the original Broly film is the fact that
he's John Cena?
Well, not even that. Like, it's the opposite. Like, a squash match, if you have the person who's completely overpowering the other person, they win. That's how it works. That's how a squash match works. You don't have that person, like, kicking ass throughout the entire film and then only losing at the end because of Deus Ex Machina. That's not how you do it. There was this great scaling that you saw throughout the entire fight.
You did.
Yeah.
I think they went through the progressions to kind of show Broly's adaptation of his power scaling and unleashing, really adapting to not just fighting styles, not just adapting to his opponents or the scene. It shows that actually he is kind of the better adapter to fighting than even Goku is in this regard. And he has kind of a higher potential, which is obviously that thing that Broly was kind of always meant to be, is this, like, ultimate, like, endless, limitless creature that how are we going to destroy him? But this really at least shows his adaptability. He only has sparring matches with his father. He doesn't really
which
know...
Is not,
he's never gotten
nothing.
Yeah, which, he, you know, Paragus... Same Paragus. Doesn't know really how to fight, not a true warrior in a sense.
No.
You don't go through those fighting. But this is like his first fight. And as the fight goes on, he's getting better and harder and deeper. And Vegeta even recognizes that. The progression...
Like, where the hell did you come from?
Yeah, the progression...
A planet with giant bugs!
The progression that they have to go through just to transform through their Saiyan states. Going from start form...
Which you got Super Saiyan God Vegeta.
Yes, you did. You get that now in, you know, the series, not because obviously in the manga they had that before. Already. But now you get to see him, and that was epic. They did a lot of things that obviously, if you're a fan of the series, and the people who are watching this, obviously, you guys are a fan of the series.
Yeah.
But they had those moments where a move is done or an epic transformation that just kind of recalls something, and you go,
and it's just that, it's the goosebumps are just like most of the theater at times was like cheering. It was a lot of parts like that.
Oh yeah,
it was a blast. It was an experience in itself just going to see it in theaters.
Now the one thing I will say that it was a little bit I wish would have occurred, they didn't really do. Obviously in the Janemba fight there was the quintessential Big Bang attack from like Gogeta. We didn't get to see that, but we did get to see another signature move.
I really wish I remember the name of it.
In English, I think it was the Stardust Breaker.
Stardust, that's it.
But in Japanese, I think it translated to Soul...
Soul something that crushes and
well, I think it's like Soul Punisher.
I like to call it the Rainbow Ball.
Let us know in the comments below.
I'm mad at myself for no, but it's called like the Soul Punisher or something like that.
Well, I mean, that's what you got. That was the beauty of this film, is that you had a great cinematography, like fantastic art style.
Some of the best things though were before the fusion, before the end of the fight, like the back-to-back Kamehameha Gallic gun.
That was another moment where it was just like, fuck yeah.
This was, I think, a really good like segue into what we can have in the future. Like,
of course,
Dragon Ball Super, we had the hiatus, as we like to call it.
A lot of people thought it was done. We told you guys. We said it was a hiatus. They said it, and then they stuck to it.
But we weren't supposed to call it a hiatus. They're done.
They're done. No. I mean, we got the movie. They have the manga. We're gonna get the episodes back. Not soon, but we're gonna be getting them back.
More than likely, we will get like they did with both Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. We will get a series segue of this movie.
No, I don't think they're going to go with that.
I think they will. I think the way that this was done, they will totally do that. They're going to tone deaf a lot of bits of it, because that's what they did with Resurrection F.
Well,
actually, the series version of Resurrection F was better than actual Resurrection F.
The difference is because the fact that when it came to the series, we only had the movie. We didn't have Dragon Ball Super as a series. That's why they were able to transition into that, to get everybody kind of watching.
For them to kind of go about and making this really into the series and do kind of what you're talking about, they're going to not just have to go, we're using Broly for these like movies again, and probably doing like some kind of trilogy or something like that. If they bring him into the show as a somewhat like regular cast, which personally I think is going to ruin a lot of fans' perception and backing behind Broly. Broly has been a favorite. He's been
for being the strongman bad guy who just crushes anything.
I think if they follow the story that they've built up with this movie in particular, they very well could do the whole like, he's the rival that lives on another planet that Goku goes and visits every now and then.
But they've already done that. They already did that. Well, not just Vegeta. The fact that Goku obviously goes to the homeworld of Beerus and trains with him and Whis. Like, it's the same
This
thing.
is the revolution of Dragon Ball, guys. Like, they do this on repeat.
He does have
I'm not wrong.
Kinkai, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Goku finds a new thing to train with.
Mentors.
He mentors a little bit. Beerus is not his mentor.
They're not. They all have it. Yeah, Whis is a mentor, yes, but not all of them have been mentors. He does mentor, rival. He needs a new rival now that he's got a new mentor.
No, that's fine. But he's not. But the difference is those rivals then die.
No,
with the exception of Vegeta.
He never killed. He's killed one of his fucking enemies.
I didn't say I never said he killed him. I said they die. There's a difference. They can die without him killing him.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, what are some of the things that you guys really thought shined in this film? And what are some of the things you guys thought was just awful? Or not good?
Right, okay, so...
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right. There was a few things that I probably wasn't the biggest fan of. Some of the music selection, I was not...
Go, Gogeta, go! Like, not even as good as that. Like, that was actually better than what was in the film.
I think so. And some of the music, not all. There was some of the music selection that I thought I could really get behind. But then the music selection that they literally had a song that all it was saying the names.
Oh my god.
Where all it was saying Kakarot. You know what I mean? Like in a song.
Kakarot!
Yeah, like that. I think that's exactly how it went. I tried to block it out of my mind.
That was all of them. They did that exact thing. It was the same like blaring guitar note.
Only 3 times have they done that. Thankfully, they kept more. When it was sticking more to the kind of orchestra style.
It was weird though, because and I have to go off on this because this was going to be my complaint about it too. So you have these like soft orchestral pieces that were every now and then in the background, and then you went to these like blaring guitar riffs that really didn't fit with anything going on.
You want to talk about you know revolutions, but that's the Dragon Ball movies.
Yeah,
the Dragon Ball movies, unfortunately, always kind of do that.
But that's what I'm saying.
There was a few times where they bring with like, okay, the one good save about Resurrection F was the soundtrack. They brought back Hey Chala for that, for that movie.
Well, no, that again, it's not every single song in the selection that I had a problem with. It's honestly a lot of the music that came up into the Battlefront where they were basically going, here's Kakarot, here's Gogeta, this is,
unnecessarily saying their names.
Just
as
unnecessarily saying that for that. Like, those were the times where the score was not done well, because I've seen tons of anime movies, and they can produce better music selections than that. The music selection was not appealing to me for a good handful of the songs, and that was a major thing for me. Now, on the opposite front, I loved, like, you try to give me shit all the time. I am not a Gogeta hater. I like both fusions. I like Vegito and Gogeta. Most of the time, I'm good with either or. Gogeta's good with me because most of the time I think Vegeta is the one who's a more dominant personality in that one. Thus, you see that even more when it goes, I'm here and Kakarot. Yeah. Like, okay, you know who's in control at that point. You know what I mean? It's those types of things that I'm a fan of. I just like the more permanent in clothing attire of Vegito. Like, I liked the
inverse colors.
The inverse colors, the fact that it's Goku's gi, but Vegeta's gloves. You know what I mean? I liked the fact that if they had the pair of earrings and everything like that. But the animation was really good, so I enjoyed that. I personally thought that I think my favorite thing was that this movie had a stronger connection to Vegeta. Yeah. But to me, it just makes more sense for the character to be linked that way to Vegeta, and the intro fight between the Saiyans.
Hey Vegeta. Hey Vegeta.
Yeah.
Vegeta.
And child Vegeta, Raditz, and stuff like that.
Nappa with hair.
Yeah.
A little tuft of hair at the top, but he had hair.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe 6-7 years old at that point in time. Spot on. Awesome. That animation was cool. Yeah, like, that was my favorite thing. So, but I mean, whatever. I'm a Vegeta fan, so fuck off.
I'm glad you didn't take my point, though. And I'd have to say, and it was just surprising, was the humor. I love the humor that was organically injected into this film.
Just because it was so organically goofy Goku.
Yeah, or not even just the goofy Goku, just the other things. Like when Frieza is just like, oh, you know what? Broly's getting beat, but wait a minute, I remember when I killed Krillin, that initiated... Yeah. So then he just goes to Paragus, he's like, hey, I want to try something. Zap kills him, turns on, Broly! Oh no! And Rogue Key Blast killed your father! It's just like, it's like such a dick move that you would expect out of Frieza, but it was also like, it was funny, and then they did it so well, and I can't remember laughing that much in an episode of Dragon Ball even. They did it so well to where, usually I'm the one who's like, I love humor, but I think there's a time and a place for it. And in like Marvel films, sometimes it's not the time or the place. Mm-hmm. This just worked out so well. I loved like the humor.
No, I did. I enjoyed the little spots of humor.
The vanity wishes of, I can't wish for more than 5 centimeters of height because then everybody will know that it's fake. Like, I wish for this versus Frieza would just be like, I had a growth spurt. Or with Bulma, they'd be like, oh, if I wish for 10 years younger, then people are going to think
Who's
that
your
I had...
plastic surgeon?
Exactly. These little things. And then, of course, just Goku being the classic idiot. But, the only things I didn't really like, I don't know, they're more nitpicky. Music is actually not nitpicky. I completely agree with you on the music front. That was kind of just taken away. But I am a little bit sad that we didn't get the future Bardock and like him trying to be the last, that last stand. He kind of got it, but I was hoping more for the the future sight and stuff like that. But I still think what we got was still good. Like, so that was more. Like I said,
touch homage, not too much into it.
We got Goku's mom.
We did.
That's fair.
We did,
which was great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's why I said like I really didn't have major ones other than the music.
What did you like and dislike?
So again, it wasn't so bad that like the music was bad. It was just
only a few of the songs were bad.
Yeah, just those three like glaring character pieces. But it was the disjointedness of the soundtrack, in all honesty. Also, I noticed a few times some really wonky eye animation, and I don't know if it was supposed to be in there.
It kind of is. So they did that with Dragon Ball Super at first, which is some of the things that people get upset about if you freeze frame it. But it's because it's the animation style, and Anime AJ, I think is his name. He does breakdowns of this. It's because it's a money kind of saving style. It kind of fits better, at least with this art style, than it did Super, where it kind of is a quick blend into it.
Like, literally just looked like the fucking pupil was fucking... Like, I was gonna have a seizure from watching the pupil.
That's also classic. That's also classic anime style, like the old anime, where you can see the characters when they're going crazy or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Goku got overexcited and it did it. Why?
That's why I was saying there was a point in the animation where I thought that they went really clean and crisp on some of it, and then they cut away to save money on some of the other stuff. The introduction to Piccolo is when you could clearly tell that they went with a different style of animation for that. But the thing is, though, for that scene specifically, the fact that they went with a slightly more humorous approach to it, and it's kind of like exposition of doing some stuff, I thought the animation style was adequate for it. Like, I didn't think, like, you didn't need to produce something that was epic in a scene that was Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo explaining fusion dance. You didn't need, that's why the cartooniness of it and the funniness of it, of him going, have to dance! Like, it was meant to be in that fashion. Like, I enjoyed that.
So the one thing that I have to saving grace, at least say this somewhere in this, they fucking broke reality.
Good.
We believe they broke reality.
We warned of this.
Too much power that something like this would happen, but it would also result in the complete destruction of the universe, which didn't happen. Which actually reminds me of one of what.
Because Whis was there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he rewinded time.
Yeah.
But I actually, real quick, now I do have a legitimate thing I didn't like is the way it ended. I don't like the fact that like we had the epic fight, and then right as Gogeta Blue was about to blast Broly away, like, okay, I wish him away. I honestly thought the way it was going to end, I think it may have been better that way, is they run out of time, they split, they're like, oh, fuck, and then he gets wished away. I don't know, I feel like maybe that would be a better way of ending it.
I actually thought it was going to be a wish from... I forgot the secondary character's
I know, it's
name.
so sad.
They put a lot of TNA into her...
For whatever reason, like every time they have a shot, it's like
framing her butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her bending over, whatever. But no,
I
actually thought that it was pretty close to what I thought it was going to be. Instead of them wishing him away, I thought she was going to wish, like, very corny. I'm warning you. Very corny.
Wish his mind back?
No. Wish for his heart to be at rest. Instead of have all this rage.
That's what
So, yes, the clarity of the mind and stuff like that. Like, I thought she was going to put it really hokey. And because of that, instead of, like, blasting him, like, because he controls the command anyway.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to, like,
no, never mind.
And he, like, blasts it off
something's different.
You know what I mean? And that's how.
So the one thing that I do have to say about that, well, at least about the TNA stuff, remember this all started from Bulma's panties. Just remember, this entire series started with Bulma's panties.
Smack.
No balls.
Do you have anything else that you like or dislike?
I think it's time for the score, boys.
So we're gonna, of course, grade this out.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
We know he's gonna give it. You know he's gonna give it like a 9 or a 10.
How many stars do you get?
This movie gets as many stars as there are Dragon Balls.
Oh, 7, huh?
And only slightly.
Wait, technically 14. There's like another 7 somewhere.
Well,
you're giving them a 14.
No.
We knew you were going to do
Namek and Dragon Balls don't exist
Yeah, they do.
They do. So you're giving a 7.
I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm surprised.
I'm going to give it a strong 7, though, because honestly, it did everything that I kind of wanted it to do. There was a few over-the-top things. There was a few things that were just, like, weird and out of place. And again, the fucking music. Like, that's saving grace with me for a lot of movies.
Right.
Like, Thor Ragnarok is still way up there for me
So,
because of the music.
What about you?
I would have to give it an 8.5. And not because there's anything that was necessarily bad about it. I just think that it was great for that one experience. It was great for that one viewing.
Right.
But I don't think there's anything truly memorable or something that made it exceptional.
Okay.
I would give it higher than an 8.5.
I'm actually with Mike. I'm giving this a 7-star Dragon Ball. And it mostly is, yes, I thought it was a good movie. I had fun watching it. The music selection, blah, blah, blah. It's just one of those things where nothing blew me away. It wasn't the perfect movie. Did I enjoy it? Am I glad that I went to go see it? Am I going to probably watch it again? Probably. But nothing gave it to me where it was a Big Bang attack. Like, there wasn't, it wasn't...
All right, you convinced me. I knocked it down like half. I'll give it 8.
Okay, there you go.
Because I remember my own phrase, like, it wasn't something that would be memorable. So
I don't know why.
Would be.
I don't know why, but I thought you were going to give it a 7 too, so I thought we were going to go lucky 7.
Sure, like 7 now.
Yeah.
I guess I had to be the odd one out.
Yeah. So I think that's going to roll our review out for today.
And then, of course, you can check out our podcast. We're on Podbean, Google Play, Instagram. Wow. Yeah, we are on Instagram, too, as far as social media is concerned.
Well, we have the link on there sometimes.
We have a whole bunch of links at the bottom. Just check it out. You can check out our podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media. Of course, subscribe to our channel for a lot of great content we have.
Don't forget to ding that bell so you remain notified of every single time we do one of these.
We also stream on Twitch as well. And if you want to help us, grow, of course, become a patron.
You want to see us Broly out.
Oh, jeez.